Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christy and today I am going to be sharing with you all loads of diaries the past several years to help you choose one for the upcoming year of 2025, which is just a couple of weeks away, and that's slightly terrifying, but I figured this is the time where a lot of people are searching for diaries, and therefore why not share some of the ones that have worked for me over the past few years. So the ones I will be sharing with you today include my current use everyday diary, which is the PaperRepublic pocket-sized Grand Voyager notebook. This is absolutely stunning. The quality is immaculate. You can do some personalization. I love the color that I purchased in this, and honestly this size is perfect for me because it means I can just pop it in my handbag and it can go everywhere with me, which was what I was really looking for in terms of a diary going into the new year, because as you will see from the other ones that I will be showing, they're very big and they're very heavy and they were not good for traveling, which when I travel down to campus to London, I need something that I can bring with me. So this literally goes with me everywhere, and this is much more than just a diary. I have a 2025 diary in here, but I also have a commonplace book, I have a thesis notebook, and I have a junk journal, which is just sort of everyday thinking and random thoughts that go in there. But yeah, and it's got my pen loop and everything, so I literally can just grab this and go, and I need nothing else. Also, my desk space is quite limited in terms of surface area, so this also means that this can stay on my desk within easy reach at all times. Then the next one that I will be sharing is the Productivity Method Planner by Grace Beverly. I think this is fantastic if you are somebody who has multiple jobs, if you've got lots of things on the go, lots of big projects that you need to break down into smaller tasks, and even if you're just like a working mom or something like that and you have a heavy mental load, this is a really great a great planner for you to be able to really jot down that to-do list in a more manageable way. And I particularly love this. This was my repurchase of it. The first one I had was a light green color and I used it in its entirety. This is undated for 6 months, and I used it when I was a children and families worker. I was working 25 to 30 hours a week, and also doing independent research on the side, and then also just had life things in my head that I needed to get down in terms of to-do list. And this was fantastic and is actually one of the ones I would recommend the most if you are a super busy person with lots of things on the go. The next one I will be sharing is the Pumpkin Productivity Academic Diary, created by Ruby Granger here on YouTube. This I purchased at the very beginning of my PhD, and I purchased it particularly because it was thin. This is also 6 months undated, but you can see in terms of size comparison the very big difference there. And this I was able to travel with, but honestly I just didn't use it very often, and I don't know if it's just because I got out of the habit or what, but I do think that this is the best option if you are a undergrad student or a postgrad student doing taught courses. This is fantastic. I think also it would be really great for a PhD student in America, where you have to do comp exams and you have teaching alongside of things. I think this would probably be a great option, although I don't know if there'd be enough space for you in here. But definitely if you're an undergrad student, this is the one for you. It's specifically designed for studying and for academia, so really great option, and it's thin enough to pop in your bag with all of your textbooks and things, so yeah. Then the next one that I will be going through is the Quirky Cup what is it called? The Quirky Cup Collective diary. This is again undated, 6 months. She's stunning, absolutely stunning, which is absolutely why I bought it. And this was the one that I was using prior to switching over to PaperRepublic. Honestly, this one is probably the one I would recommend the least, unless you're really going for that aesthetic look. This is essentially like a bullet journal in its layout, but with the designs already done for you, if that makes sense. There's also no daily layout, it's just weekly. Same with the pumpkin productivity planner as well. These both don't have daily, it's weekly spreads, whereas the productivity method has very extensive daily spreads. So yes, but I will be showing this because I think that this might be something that some people would like, and it looks beautiful on your bookshelves, I have to admit. And then finally, the last one that I will be sharing with you is trusty old bullet journaling. This is the bullet journal that I used when I was a master's student in a taught program. And so I'll be showing you some of the spreads that I've done in this, specifically geared towards being a student. But I also think that this is obviously the perfect option if you're a really creative, artsy type of person. I remember this being so much fun, and to be honest, when I finish a diary, that's why I don't have the other productivity method planner, I recycle it. I get rid of it. But all of the bullet journaling ones that I have, I keep because I think that they're quite special. They're obviously very unique, and I love looking at the creative side of me in terms of that artsy bit, because I'm not really somebody who draws a lot and things like that. So this is just a really interesting look in terms of like, oh yeah, I did that. And it's just really nice to keep hold of as a memory. But it's also probably the cheapest option, but it is the one that requires the most effort in terms of designing your layouts. Although, as I will show, you can really go all out and do really creative things that will take you quite a bit of time, or you can still be creative but be very practical in how you're setting up your layout, so then that way you don't have to spend as much time creating those spaces, especially if you're super busy. So that's the last one I will share with you, but that means we have a fair few to go through. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and shift locations over to my desk so that I can show you all of these diaries via flip throughs, and then you can make an informed decision as to what might work for you. All right, let's jump right in. So first up, we have the PaperRepublic Pocket Grand Voyager, which is currently what I use all the time. I take this everywhere with me. Perfect to throw in a handbag. She is very chunky because I use this for literally everything. Now, this is the burnt orange. I don't know if it's showing it as nicely on camera as it should, but this is the burnt orange edition that they released for Christmas. It's limited edition. It's got the black accent ribbon. I added my own personal charm to it. This is a little mushroom charm that my sister gave to me in Canada, and I'm so glad that I found a really great place for it. But super easy to personalize in terms of charms. You just untie this ribbon and then retie it once you put the charm on. And the gold goes really well with the embossing, and as you can see, I've kept the gold theme going. But we'll take a look inside. So like I said, this is the Grand Voyager one, not the folio. The folio comes with like pockets and different kind of stitching, but I just wanted something a bit more simple and flexible. But inside I have my 2025 diary, which obviously I haven't used yet, but it's the weekly one. So you've got your weekly glance here, and then a page for notes, and that is that. Super simple. Then I have a card holder, which I've added some sticker to, and a pen loop from the company. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I know I cannot pronounce the name of it, so hopefully you can. But yeah, the PaperRepublic does have their own pen holders, but I just found it was too expensive for my budget, to be perfectly honest, so I got one of these and it fits really well. This is the XL one because I have a fountain pen. This is the Calico fountain pen, and it honestly, it's quite tight. Like, you have to really wiggle it in there, but hopefully with time it'll loosen a little bit anyways. And so you have your little folder there with a slit there, and inside my card pocket, so this is literally slotted in this, so this wraps around it, is my commonplace book, and this is just a blank page one. And then here you have the same thing, a little folder, a little slit. I've got my little Tortured Poets Department bookmark there, and then we have my I'm Not Stopping Until I'm PhD Done sticker from Accepted Society, which I see every time I go to open my thesis notebook, which is a dotted one. And then after the thesis notebook at the very end, I have a contact sheet, which is wrapped around, same kind of idea as the card holder, wrapped around my junk journal, which literally is just a dumping ground for thoughts and notes and to-do lists, etc., that sort of thing. And that's it. I honestly have this probably filled to the absolute max that you can do, because as you can see, it does extend over because of how full I have it, but honestly, I don't mind. And yeah, that's the PaperRepublic journal. I think this is a great option, really sustainable since it's refillable. And yeah, sorry, I can't do this when I'm like not looking at what I'm doing. But anyways, that's the PaperRepublic one. And then the next one that I have here is the Productivity Method, which is by Grace Beverly. In this one, which is based off of her book, let me just grab that here, which is based off of this book here, Working Hard, Hardly Working by Grace Beverly. And that's what this basically is taking and implementing into this diary. So you have some contents here. You've got a little forward talking about the how to use, is really talking about what it says in that book. So like, you don't need to have read this book before going into this at all. It's just a really good way of really understanding the breakdown. But this is what your week, not even week, your daily setup looks like. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you have a getting to know me section. So about me, kind of just giving you some time to reflect on how you work best, what you've noticed about yourself in terms of your productivity, like what time of day you work better, etc. Habits to build, habits to break. And then you go right into your yearly planning. So this is the goal section for the year. So I just would write the year here, like 2024, 2025. And then you have these different sections: career and business, attitude and mindset, health, finances, relationship, and personal development. And you just write around that essentially. And then monthly planning, I did use this for a bit, so I'm just trying to protect some of my personal information there. But you also have that same setup for every month, which I thought was fantastic. Then we have weekly planning. This was honestly the thing that I used the least, was weekly planning, but it's good to have it. So you can say your week commencing. You've got lots of space here, and then your goals for the week and goal setting notes as well. Then we're going to flip straight through, because that's all of this. There's 6 months worth in this diary, to the daily planning. Now, I was going to say I should have tagged this properly. Yeah. And again, I did use this. So this is your daily spread. You have your schedule here, so you can time block, obviously, the date, because this is undated. And then you have quick ticks, which are essentially very quick tasks that take under 5 minutes to do. Then you have your tasks, which are 5 to 30 minutes, and then projects, which is over 30 minutes. It really helped break things down into manageable time blocks, so that I was able to understand how I needed to schedule my day to make sure that I was able to achieve everything I needed to. Then you have 1 habit I am keeping today, and 3 non-negotiable things I'll get done today. I think that this is fantastic, and that is literally it for the rest of the diary. And then at the very back here, you also have notes section. So that is the Productivity Method diary by Grace Beverly. I think it is a fantastic option for the very busy multi-project individual. And yeah, I think that that's a really great option. Then the next one that I have here is one that people might be more familiar with, which is the yearly planner from Pumpkin Productivity, which is Ruby Granger's company. And I got this honestly because I wanted something more portable. As you can see, this is very thin, although this is also 6 months worth and undated. It is also hardback, and I think the little designs are beautiful. And this is particularly designed for students. So you've got the nice little letter here, you've got a key, you've got self-care, reasons to be happy. There's a lot of these kind of fun sheets here. Go-to meals, which is really helpful for when you're in the depth of studying, things I want to accomplish. You've got new hobbies, recommendations, and I love that there's a lot of these places for things like hobbies and self-care, and just to make your life easier, but also to remember to enjoy these things out with just studying all the time. Then you also have things you want to learn more about. Really great, again, undergrad, postgrad, the ability to note something down from your lectures, wanting to know more about it, whether it's for an essay or just for personal development. It's a really great page, and one that I have taken into account for just my own sort of daily life. Then you have books I've read, which clearly I stopped, considering that was one of the first books I read this year, but I in fact have read 100 books this year, so that's not really showing the truth of that matter. But then you have the to be read section, which is great if you have an actual reading list as well. Library book log, birthdays, which after that is addresses, which I've just obviously hidden for privacy. But then you go into your monthly calendar as well, so you do have a place to note those important deadline dates. You have daily routine and your ideal routine for both morning and night, and then you have a weekly timetable as well, which again, I did use this for about a month, so just flipping through that. But this is your weekly spread, so this is what each day looks like. You have here your events today, reminders, admin tasks, and also time to spend working, which I think is a really good addition because I time log, and so that was really helpful for me. Then at the end of every week, you also have a little journal question and a habit tracker before you go to your weekly plan, which has your weekly highlights from the previous week, things you've accomplished, priority tasks to bring over to that week, your to-do list, main goal for next week, to read, deadlines, and quotes or reminders. So again, really helpful. And then we go all the way to the back, and you have, like, that's literally that weekly theme is the entire book. But also I just realized I had forgotten to show you that there is at the end of every one of the months, so there's about five, I can't remember, weeks worth of those weekly layouts, and then you come to a note section and your master to-do list, and that's how it's laid out. And then at the very back of the book you have what you accomplished this year for each month, which is really nice little addition. And then you have, of course, some note sections, and that's the Pumpkin Productivity Planner. Really great option for students. I think if you're an undergrad or a master's student, I think if you're a master's and you're also working alongside it, the productivity method is probably better. But if you want something more portable to bring to your classes, this is a really great option. But as an undergrad, I would 110% recommend this one above all else, because I think it's exactly what you need. And then the next one is the Quirky Cup Collective planner. This is stunning, and that is exactly the reason why I purchased it, is just because it's stunning, not even gonna lie. This is another 6-month undated one, and I got this from Paper and Word. She's stunning. She's got gold gilded edges. This is the one that I used most recently before the PaperRepublic one, but again, it's just too heavy to be bringing, for my daily life, especially traveling and such. So, but she looks gorgeous on the bookshelf. So you've got this lovely letter here. You have some weekly affirmations, self-care, letters to your future self, which you can see I really didn't do anything here. Set your goals. I also didn't do this because this was not at the beginning of the year. And yeah, so you have different, sorry, I'm probably flipping through this a little bit too quickly, but you've got your different sections here. So New Year's resolutions, what you want to learn, places to visit, activities, mental health, physical health, money, relationships, career, study, and then you have 2 blank ones as well as a longer page. Then you have reminders for important dates and appointments, your monthly log. This essentially is set up like a bullet journal, but without you having to do any of like the creative aspect, right? Because yeah, that's essentially what this is. And then you have this gorgeous spread before each of the month. And like I said, I have used this, so I'm just going to take this ribbon here and flip to one where there's no writing. Like, how stunning is this artwork? Absolutely stunning. But then you have your monthly layout. You would put your month here, little notes. That's at least how I have used it. And then you have this for every month as well, which is looking forward to your to-do list, money, different sections here. I would put reflections from the week and month, etc. in this section here, which was really helpful. Then you have your weekly spread, which is what the bulk of this diary is, right? So it's not daily, it's weekly, quite narrow columns. So it could be useful for some people. I did find it useful, but it was a little bit crammed because I did time block in this area, just because I felt like I needed to use this space, and it was, yeah, anyways, that's what worked best for me. But you have your week above, you've got the month, so just add, I would always just add, like, for example, in December, DEC, you don't have to write the entire thing. Affirmations, your to-do list, tracking, which you can add what habits you are tracking, your gratitude and memories, and also some blank space for notes. And that is literally it. That's how the entire thing is set up. And then at the very end, you have to be continued with reflections about like just repeating what was at the very beginning, but reflecting on that instead. And then you have letters to your past self, again reflecting that kind of letter at the very beginning. You have a section for lists, and then you come to some free space, which I had done some notes, so I've just covered that up. But yeah, it's just dotted and blank sheets at the very end. So this is the most beautiful, in my opinion, absolutely. But if I'm being perfectly honest, it's probably not the one that I would recommend in terms of practicality, especially for a student, because I just don't think that there's enough room on the page for you to work with. And then we have the bullet journal for the creative person. This is what I used in my master's. This is the one that I used during my master's, and it is by Scribbles That Matter. It comes with a little pen loop and the ribbon around it. And honestly, I recycle my diaries when I'm done with them, which is again why PaperRepublic is so great, because it's a refillable one. But this and all of my other bullet journals that I've done previously, I keep because it's just a really nice memory, and also all the creative work that went into it. But I will show you some examples of how I had set this up. So let's see here. We had the first page, which was my program and professor's details, which I've obviously covered up. I had my semesters at a glance, reading lists, film list, because I was also I was doing Gothic Imagination, which was both literature and film. Oh, book's just fallen. And then I had ideas sections for essays. This is how I laid out every single one of my assignments, where I had a blank page to just write notes, brainstorm, and then also deadlines, what it was about, scheduling, dates submitted, whether there was extensions, etc. Had my outline and reference list. This was a creative project I had. So you could see, like, I really enjoyed the creative process with the bullet journaling. And that was, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just go through all these. Yeah, okay. So that was essentially how that was set up. And then you would get to, I had my grade sheet following that semester section where I would put down the grades that I got. And then I had my monthly spreads, which were looking like this. And I was doing freelance work at the same time and studying. And so this was pre-university as I was preparing to go to university. But also you could see I was a little bit more creative here, but I will say my favorite spread, is it this one here? Nope. Where are you? Where have you gone? There we are. Is this one here. I am obsessed with this layout. I absolutely loved it. I felt really creative clearly this month and I love coffee. So, you know, that was fun. Stained it with some actual coffee. Then I had books that I was reading for a specific module. This was my little notice board where I just could put anything. And then this was my monthly spread that I had created. Did a lot of doodling. And these were how my weeks were laid out. I always had a study log for my weeks. And yeah, that's how that was laid out. However, you will notice that this is fairly creative. Like, it takes time. I was using rulers to do all this, you know, like you have to be committed to take the time to do it. So when I was being less creative, I know that I say that showing this as the cover, but honestly, it wasn't that difficult to create. But you will see that I adjusted accordingly. So again, this is my monthly view, which was still like, you still have to take the time to do that because, you know, ruler and straight lines and stuff. But as you will see with the weekly, like this, for example, instead of having a full square, I just did lines. To break it up because I didn't have time to do a lot here, but I continued to do my study log and used stickers more often as well. And another example of that is in April, which again, this obviously is very creative, but this was also when, like, April was when we were in lockdown. So I needed a creative outlet, and it's possibly one of my favorite things I've ever drawn because I am not an artist in any shape or form. So still really pleased with that. But I followed a tutorial from, is it Amanda Rachel Lee? She does a lot of bullet journaling on YouTube, and I followed her tutorial for this. Had my month at a glance just in one page that month, which ended up being more consistent for me. But as you will see here, I became even more just not having the time because I was a key worker as well as continuing to study. So with lockdown, not a lot actually changed for me. I just was under a lot of stress and anxiety. But so I literally just wrote the date and then used a highlighter to break up the space. So like, you don't have to put in a ton of effort. And then I still did my study log in this, and I made it a bit creative by adding it to make it look as though it was like washi taped, right? But that honestly is it. So you don't have to do super creative things. I think stickers are a really great thing to have, but yeah, that was my bullet journal, and I still absolutely love it. And bullet journaling is such a wonderful creative outlet that I think it's a fantastic option, especially if you want to have more flexibility, and creating those sort of assignment pages and things I think was super helpful. When I did my dissertation for my master's, I ended up getting a bigger bullet journal of Scribble That Matters and using that to plan out my entire thesis. So I think this is a really great option if you're willing to spend a little bit of time to create those spreads. So yes, that is everything in terms of the diaries I have purchased and used. So there's the bullet journal, you've got the Quirky Cup Collective, Ruby Granger's productivity planner, pumpkin productivity, and then you have Grace Beverly's the productivity method, and then finally the PaperRepublic journal. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. That is all the diaries I had to share with you today. I hope that was super helpful, and I will see you again next week for another video. Bye.